Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for a new series, Station 11. Actually, I'm going to be doing it's HBO Max. It's on HBO Max. Station 11, I'm going to be doing episodes 1, 2, and 3 because they decided to drop them all at once. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. So before I get started, let me take care of some business first and we'll get down to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the videos that pop up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos in my vast video library and pops it up there just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. And if you can, hit that like button, the share button as well. And if you don't want to be notified of when I'm going to be coming on live, you can hit that bell down below. It's a 50, well, actually not a 50-50 chance. Only time it's a 100% chance that YouTube won't notify you. So what you should do is go over to suspendedfanimation.com, take a look at the schedule I have up there. I change it out every week, and I'm mostly faithful to the times I put up there. Sometimes I'm a little bit late, but it happens. Life happens, that kind of thing. I also have the links to my social media on there and the links to my pages on there as well. So before we get started here, spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the episodes. If you have not seen the episodes, go and watch them. You can come on back. This will be a video. You can comment down below in the comment section. Giving you enough time to hit pause, stop, whatever you need to do. Make sure Modoc doesn't fall there. So, this is a new series on HBO Max. It is a post-apocalyptic series kind of thing. And it jumps around timeline wise. It goes from about 2005 to about 2040, 2041, somewhere around there. So it bounces back and forth. And we all know how much I'm a fan of shows that jump back and forth through time that aren't time travel related. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of things that skip around in time. It's almost as it's almost as gimmicky as the unreliable narrator, where you are hiding obvious things that are going to help your audience along. And I haven't read the novel that this came from. I know that this is actually based on a novel, but yeah, I haven't read the novel. I'm coming to this cold. I watched the 3 episodes. I found them intriguing. I have to admit, I found them intriguing. It's just I don't like the time jump because then you're learning new things that should have happened before and that you should have learned other stuff before you see other things. Yeah, I hate the jumbleness of out of orderness. It just doesn't work for me. The non-linear storytelling. It works sometimes. This one, I don't know how it's going to go, quite honestly, with this. There's 10 episodes in this season. They're going to drop 2 episodes a day, actually 2 episodes a week, except for the last episode, which is going to drop by itself in January sometime. Actually, they're doing it every Thursday. So, Draven says that's why you hate Tarantino, right? No, I hate Tarantino just because he's bitten from every other single movie that I've seen before. I've seen all the same movies that he has, and I know exactly all the scenes that he's taken from. So, yeah, sometimes there's stuff that is actually uh that he's done that is original, but for the most part it's not. So, and that's all I'm going to say about that. But otherwise, other than that, there are some interesting concepts, I guess you can say, on this. Um, you have one character that comes about in episode 3 who is Miranda Carroll, and she's a logistics expert and also happens to be likes drawing, and she has a story in her head that she wants to get out. And it's called Station 11 is what this is. She makes a small graphic novel, I guess you could say, that she wasn't going to publish, and she's painted all the pages and all that kind of stuff. And one of the characters in this is Dr. 11, who you see in the thumbnail for this episode that I have here. And Dr. 11, we don't know what the whole story is of Dr. 11. We haven't been shown that yet, other than we see this character like in space at one point, um, listening in on a conversation between two characters that we've seen already. Once the outbreak first happens in 2020, I believe it's 2020 or 2021. I believe it's 2020 because that's when they kept saying that's what the time frame was. Um, do I think it's going to pass the 4 episode tests? Uh, I'm sure it will. Unless it really pisses me off in episodes 4 and 5. Um, but I'm intrigued enough where I want to see where Doctor 11, what this is all about, because if you know, oh my God, Miranda, yes, Miranda, if she is a prophet, what's going to happen here? And so our other characters, of course, that we've met are Himesh Patel. Excuse me, that's the actor's name. Jivan and Kirsten, who is a little girl who happens to be at a play of King Lear that Javan is attending. When the lead actor, who is supposed to be a movie actor, dies on stage, and Javan goes up on the stage to help him, even though he doesn't know CPR or anything like that. And people start dropping dead in New York at this point. This is where the pandemic is happening, and it's starting to move. He gets a call from his sister, who works in the hospital, who tells him to go to his brother and ride this thing out because it's going to get nasty. And so, yeah, this whole thing of setting that up, and then later on, you see that Kirsten, she's grown up. She's in her 20s at this point. Um, and we find out that she lost Javon someplace, probably within the first year or two. We don't know where he went. She doesn't know where he went either. But she hooks up with this traveling musicians, actors, if you will, that travel along what they call the wheel, which is a basically a trek around the some portion of the United States that they use with horses and caravans, and they put on shows. Like I said, this kind of goes all over the place, and that's what I'm not liking about this is just the you stick with a portion of the story, and then you kind of jolt people out of it by bringing them either back or forward and starting another section of the story. And that's the point that I don't like about this series is that, yes, some of the things are tied together, definitely, but by showing large chunks of these people at a one certain point in time, if you're doing like, 40 minutes of, if you will, of the what's going on with the pandemic, right, or the virus as people are dying, and then you jolt out of that and go back to 2005 when Miranda is first starting off as logistics, and how she got started and how she met the actor, um, played by I'm blanking on his name all of a sudden. Oh man, Gabriel, Gale. Uh, yes. Anyway, so that is what is kind of making me, I don't know, schizoid with this series. Is it just keeps going back and forth like that. You get a large chunk, and then all of a sudden you kind of get jolted out of it. So that's why it doesn't really work with me. Joe Greer says no, time jumps like years and years. Yeah. Um, and Raymond says Game of Thrones did that and it never really bothered me. Game of Thrones, though, did it. They waited like a couple episodes and then did it. This does it within each episode. So you have a large chunk of time and then you kind of jolt. So yeah, that's what's kind of bothering me. I guess that's what the book does too. And that is the again, it's a gimmicky kind of thing when you know where you're going with your story, but your story doesn't hold up well. Um, I hate to say this, but yeah, it is a writing trope that when you know that your story isn't strong enough to stand on its own to do a linear story, that you end up doing this kind of weird actually the actor says this. It's a two-handed story, I think is what he said, where both characters in the story are striving to for the same end means, but they're doing it in two different ways. They're going about it two different ways. That's kind of what this whole thing is. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Joker. Most of the time the payoff is at the conclusion, and then you go, "That's it?" I mean, literally, you sit there and you go, "That's it?" And it'll kinda piss you off that went through all of this for such a little payoff on this, and that's kind of where I'm thinking this might be going. I'm hoping that's not the case. Um, yeah, I mean, at one point, we're led to believe there's only one copy of the book, and then we find out that she actually has multiple copies of the book and that she gives, her actor friend 2, one that ends up with Kirsten and one that ends up with his son, who we later meet and Kirsten actually stabs. Yeah, I figured that one out too, by the way. So that was, I mean, that wasn't too hard to figure out that that was actually his son. Yeah. So anyway, is it worth taking a look at? Take a look at the first episode. Some might find it slow. It's not really slow. It so okay in a pandemic that we're going through right now, to kind of watch this and see something that the way it's played out in the story is that they've already had a flu going around, and then the flu mutates really severely and starts killing people off like crazy. Like, it just starts burning through the world. And 80 days later, there's a good portion of the population that are dead. Civilization has collapsed, so on and so forth. And there you go. I mean, not that far fetched, quite honestly, but still, um, maybe the timing could have been better on this one. I don't know. So yeah. So I'm still reserving my judgment on this one just because there's great visuals of it too. There's some interesting stuff that is happening, in each episode. I just don't like the fucking time jumps. The time jumps I'm finding just very jarring. And also didn't work for The Witcher either. I mean, it actually hurt The Witcher, I think, to do where you had all the multiple timelines that were happening, and you didn't realize that everything was happening in different decades and whatnot. I mean, at least that one, they resolved it and they said, never again. We're not going to do that for the second season, supposedly. We'll see if that's actually the case or not, but we'll see for sure. Yeah, so far the second season, of The Witcher, I'm just going to say spoiler alert on this one. Um, I'm not liking it very much. So there you go. Raymond says I tried rewatching Contagion a few months ago and had to turn it off. Yeah. Um, I can imagine. So Raymond, a funny fact there, they were actually filming Contagion. Uh, what was it? Like 3 blocks from my house, I believe is what it was at the time when I lived in San Francisco. And yeah, it was kind of funny when they were doing the whole scene of like body bags, laying out on the street and stuff like that. That was actually near my house. It was pretty funny. I almost walked right through the set by accident. They put it in an area that was, we usually use it as a farmer's market and all that kind of stuff, and they literally put it right where the farmer's market was. On the farmer's market day, they actually yeah, they fucked up the farmer's market for that day. So, it's their own fault on that one. I heard actually that there's gonna be what is it? The premiere of the Matrix, the latest Matrix is going to happen at the Castro in San Francisco. So the Castro is an old theater, great theater, and they're going to fuck up traffic completely. I mean, I think it happened this weekend. Is what happened. It might have happened last night. So supposedly they had all the big trucks in there, and Castro is not the Castro Street there is not very wide. You can't put a lot of traffic through there. You can't put a lot of trucks in there, that kind of stuff. And merchants are pissed because it's the weekend before Christmas. And that's usually when people are going through and buying stuff because they can't get anything online to get there in time. And yeah, so not the best of planning on the SF Film Commission's dossier. Well, anyway, what else do I have going on the rest of this week? Well, funny you should ask. Tomorrow is going to be a special episode of Is It Worth My Time? And this time around, it's going to be Spider-Man Far or No Way Home. Excuse me, No Way Home, not Far From Home. No Way Home. There we go. And thanks, Felicia. Guess what? You get a voyage to getting the report to your whatever the hell it is that you're doing there. Have fun. Thanks, Felicia. Bye, Felicia. So, as I was saying, tomorrow is going to be another special episode of Is It Worth My Time? It's going to be Spider Man Far From Home. No Way Home, excuse me. No Way Home. Tuesday is going to be an episode of Is It Worth My Time? It's going to be The Witcher season 2. Wednesday is going to be the season finale of Hawkeye. That's right, the season finale of Hawkeye. Thursday is going to be 2 episodes of Station 11. Friday is going to be a double header. It's going to be the season finale of The Wheel of Time and then The Expanse, not the season finale of The Expanse, but just The Expanse episode 3. Saturday will be another episode of Is It Worth, excuse me, Saturday Morning Blast Off, where I take the genre news of the weekend and genre stuff you guys want to talk about, we talk about it. And then hopefully, oh, excuse me, you know what? Actually, I'm not going to be doing that next Saturday because that's Christmas Day. I'm going to do that maybe on Sunday. How about that? If there's anything to talk about because it is Christmas week. So, yeah. There we go. Yes, it is a busy week. And since I'm off for the next 2 weeks, they are going to be earlier. It's going to be earlier in the day. So I'm not going to be doing 6 p.m. my time. Just take a look at the schedule. You'll see what the times are. Yes, I am skipping Christmas Day, Pen. I just had a blank brain fart. Are you guys watching this on delay? I think is that what's going on? Yeah. Did you say the Matrix? I did say the Matrix. It wasn't a glitch in the Matrix either. So, oh, and I just have to say about this series, the actress playing Miranda Carroll, Danielle Deadweiler, fucking awesome. She really is. She does a great job. There's one scene where she's trapped in Malaysia. She was supposed to get out of Malaysia and end up on a boat for the next year. And she finds out that her actor friend, who she was married to, has died of a heart attack on stage. And she stumbles, falls, and loses the keys to the boat. They go into the water. And she ends up going back to the hotel to ride shit out. And they end up because she works for some company that got bought out, and so she's going to do a pitch to some Chinese investors, and they end up doing the pitch even though they know that all this shit is going down, and she just ends up breaking down during the pitch and just says, "You guys all know the end is coming. This is fucking pointless." And it's actually a really good scene. That's actually probably the best scene out of all 3 episodes I watched. So yeah, Danielle Deadweiler is definitely one of the actresses, and I can't remember where I've seen her before. I've seen her in other stuff, and I'm gonna have to go back and take a look because damn, she's good. That's all I can say. Yeah, that's right. She was in the that's right. She was in the Netflix cowboy series. Fuck. Now I'm blanking on it. Let me just click on her name. That's right. She was the tomboyish character in The Harder They Fall. That's right. Cuffy. Cuffy is who she played. But I've seen her before that too. She's been in other stuff as well. She was in Watchmen, uh, the mini series for HBO Max. What else has she been in that I might have seen? And I'm trying. I honestly, I know I saw her in something else, and I just can't. I can't place it. And I'm looking at the IMDb right now, and I'm not seeing it. So maybe it was something else. I don't know. Apple Crow says Lurkin can't wait to hear about reactions to the Matrix. Yeah, I'll be watching it on HBO Max. I won't be watching it in the theater. That's for sure. Yeah, you need to catch up on Hawkeye, Apple Crow. So speaking of Hawkeye, there are going to be giveaways for Hawkeye. There is going to be a contest for pins. There are pins involved. So there are different pins involved. Yes. And of course, if you come in on Wednesday, you'll see what that's all about. Prime Video movie. You know what video? It's never mind. Penn Slim joined Hawkeye and Wheel of Time, and of course Expanse. I am too. Hawkeye is probably much more enjoyable than I thought it was going to be. I have to admit, I wasn't sure where we were going with it, but it's actually a lot of fun. It's a lot of fucking fun. It really is. Don't forget to wear your black cloak and sunglasses for the Matrix. No, no. I don't. You know, I rarely, if ever, dress up for any of that shit. Cosplay and all that stuff. I think I've done cosplay once in my life. That's about it. No, yeah, once. That's it. And that was during Comic Con, and it was the 30th anniversary of Big Trouble in Little China. Yeah. Applecrest, I also keep forgetting about Wheel of Time. It is surprisingly good or just enjoyable. Is it surprisingly good or just enjoyable? I would say it's enjoyable, Apple Crow. I'm not calling it surprisingly good, but the special effects are good. It's not something like you just have on in the background, like a CW show, like a CW DC show or something like that. You actually pay attention to it. It's actually decent. So it's good. It's not like stupendously great, but yeah, it's worth putting some effort into it. Definitely. I'm actually enjoying a lot more, to tell you the truth, right now. Just a tiny bit more. Young Justice, the animated Young Justice, and Genlock. Genlock's been really good. Yeah. I'm glad they got picked up by HBO Max. And HBO Max infused Rooster Teeth with some money so they can finish up, season 2, because it needed it. I mean, season 1 was good, but season 2 was just like, they knocked it out of the park on that one. And yes, they're both animated shows. So exactly. Thanks, Penn. Penn's watching my back on that. Because obviously I'm not. I'm just taking care of trolls that every now and then pop up in the chat and try and post malware links and all that kind of shit. So, yeah. But did I actually go through? I didn't go through the spiel, but I will in a second. I want to thank everyone who joined me today in the chat, and thank you if you made it this far in the video. And if you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos in my vast video library and pops it up here just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. And if you can, hit that like button, the share button as well. And if you don't want to be notified of when I come on live again next, hit that bell down below. It's a 100% chance that YouTube won't notify you. So what you should do is go over to suspendedfanimation.com, take a look at the schedule I have up there. I change it out every week. Also, all the links to my social media are on there, and all the links to my pages are on there as well. And like I said, they're going to be earlier hours this week, so take a look what's going on there. Because I'm off all this week, and yeah, I'm going to be working on other stuff, cleaning up the mess that's in this place, and then also cleaning up the mess that's in this place. All right. With that said, I'm going to let you guys go for the rest of the night. Thank you, everybody. I will see you again tomorrow for Spider-Man No Way Home. Until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may just realize that your story is bouncing around in different time frames and it's disjointed, but all put together at the same time. And they all, anyway, you know what I'm talking about. Thanks, everybody. Penn says, Dennis, do you want to go watch Spielberg's West Side Story? I want to be an American. No. Oh my God. So before I sign off on this, I will answer your question there, Penn. What the fuck was Spielberg thinking? I mean, one, that was a horrible choice. I understand it's one of his favorite movies of when he was a child or something like that, but that was the most horrible choice you could ever pick to actually do as a movie. And think about that. Think it was going to make money. I mean, that's a passion project that you don't care that you're pissing away, a couple of $1 million at that point. You do not spend, what was it, 100 and some odd $1 million that he spent on that thing and expect to make any revenue back on that shit. Because no one under 80 years of age is going to go and see that movie. And usually the people 80 years of age are going to wait till it comes out on DVD or video or anything like that, or, because they don't know how to use streaming services. Yeah, I have no idea, Penn, how he sold that. So, yeah. Well, they're like, oh, it's a Spielberg film. Let's sign up for it. No, dude, don't. Spielberg hasn't made a good movie since it's been a couple of decades. That's all I'm gonna say. It's been a couple of decades. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a fan of musicals. So yeah, musicals do not do it for me. Yeah. No. And that musical in particular, I don't know what it is, but it just yeah, mm, I want to jam like ice picks in my ears whenever I hear that one. Anyway, with that said, I'm going to let you guys go for the night. Thanks, everybody. I will see you again tomorrow. Until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out because I've already done that already. So I'm going to let you guys go. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night. Stay safe, be well, take care, wear those masks, get those vaccine shots, get those flu shots as well. Stay safe out there. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good night, everybody. Good night.